Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Code Topic. And today I'm here with Josh Huber. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I saw you. I saw some of your fights, and I was like, he has that mentality. He has a style of what you consider a real fighter. Because,
Yeah.
you have a lot of guys that go and they fight, but they're not fighting for anything. They're just fighting to fight.
Yeah.
Then you have
No-
those real guys that have meaning behind why they're actually in the sport.
Oh, for sure. I mean, everyone's doing it for different reasons, but back when I started fighting back in 2006, it wasn't like the huge sport it is now. So the guys doing it back then were really into it. They were doing it for love of the game, because there was no money and there was really no fame at all back then. So, I'm one of those old school guys where it's just like I love fighting. So I'm grateful that I found it.
So, getting into it, why did you decide to fight? What was your meaning at first to fight?
I mean, for me, I was 20 years old and I was kind of lost. I was an angry teenager and I didn't really have a whole lot going for me. I didn't have a plan for my life. And then I just stumbled upon some local fights and I was looking at the guys fighting and I'm like, man, I could fight these guys. So I just signed up. And I ended up fighting like a month after that. I had no business fighting at all, but this was back in the old days. We were fighting in bars with no weigh-ins. Like you would show up at noon, they'd weigh you in, and then they'd hit you up like a couple hours later, like, hey, we found a guy around your weight, around your experience. So you didn't even know if you were fighting on fight day back then. So it was like pretty crazy. And it wasn't exactly high level back then. I saw the guys fighting and I thought I could beat these guys. So I started training and I took a fight right away.
Hmm. And the whole bare knuckle thing, that was definitely underground at the time you started, right?
Well, I only did one bare knuckle fight in my last fight, which is the last fight of my career. The bare knuckle thing, it just kind of they had a local tryout. There was the guy that I fought, Andrew Yates. I had seen him fight. I went to the local card. I was retired. I was trying to stay retired, but I was trying to fight Yates for years in MMA, and I could never get that fight. And then I saw him fighting bare knuckle, and I'm like, man, he's doing good. I still think I could beat him. So they had a local tryout. I went to the tryout, and I freaking killed it. I thought I was the best guy there. They only picked five guys to represent on the rookie card, the not the main. It wasn't like a big BKFC card, a prospect series. That's what I'm looking for. So they put me on the prospect series, and I was fighting Yates, who was 2-0. And I was just lucky to get that fight. I did really good at the tryouts, and I kept begging the promoter for that fight. And then he was there at the tryouts. I asked him in person for like probably the third or fourth time. Then he finally saw my face and know who I was. I wasn't just some guy sending him messages on Facebook like, "Hey, I want to fight Yates." um, but he gave me the fight. I called my shot, and I knew I could beat him, and I did. That was one of my best performances ever. But no, I was on a three-fight losing streak before that. I was retired. That was the third time I came out of retirement. I'm not a young fighter anymore. I'm at the end of my career. I'm retired now. I'm never going to fight again.
Hmm. So, going from that mentality of being retired and like, whenever you retire, you do believe it's going to be the last time.
Oh
And
yeah.
then going and switching to bare knuckle out of everything, that's like a very gladiator type sport to go into. Like, what was your mentality stepping into that?
I've always been a hard-nosed fighter. I felt like if bare knuckle would have been as popular as it became like 10 years ago, I would have been all about it. I have the perfect style for it. I got a iron chin. I hit real damn hard. So I felt like I had a really good style for it. It didn't get that popular till the end of my career. And I told myself I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to break my hands. But I was just kind of looking for one more win before I retired, and like I said, I thought it could beat Yates. I thought he was the perfect matchup for me. He kind of punches with his chin up, and I hit really damn hard, and I'm good at counter punching. So I figured he would play right into my hands, and that's exactly how it played out. So it was more or less me just like wanting that particular fight than it was doing bare knuckle or coming out of retirement again.
Hmm. So let's say let's take you back to your prime, your very, very best.
Hmm.
And you were in bare knuckle. Who would you have wanted to fight?
In bare knuckle,
Yes.
man. I mean, there's so many guys. I mean, one guy I really wish I could have fought was Alonzo Martinez, who I fought in MMA, and I was beating his ass, and he resorted to wrestling, and I'm never going to be the guy that cries about losing in a MMA fight to a guy that out grappled him, but he's doing pretty good in bare knuckle. He's got a pretty solid record. He's fighting out of Nebraska. I'd love to fight him if I was still in the game, but I'm pretty much medically retired now. I can't fight again, so it's mostly I'm just grateful to go out on a win.
Yeah. So right now, who is your favorite fighter that you like watching in general? Any sport?
Um, Alex Pereira.
Hmm.
I teach kickboxing. I watch a lot of Alex Pereira and I learn a lot. The thing about him that I love is he's not a super flashy, super crazy fighter. He's just super technical. He just walks guys down like the freaking Terminator and just like knocks them out with one shot. And he's just so efficient, doesn't waste any energy. Like to me, he's the most nightmare opponent I could think of. I wouldn't want to fight him.
Hmm. And your opinion from Alex over to Izzy. How did you see Izzy as a kickboxer?
I think they're both right around the same level. Obviously, Perez got the wins on him, but all their fights were very close. They knocked each other out. Um, Izzy's a bit more flashy, which is cool. It works for him. His style's not going to work for everybody. He's like super athletic and kind of one of a kind. But Perea is just built on fundamentals. He does all those little things just perfectly, and you don't have to worry about him. Like you could teach to anybody to fight like Alex Pereira. You would just have to hammer home fundamentals and basics like over and over. And I think you can build up a fighter like that. He's built on conditioning and fundamentals, and he's a freaking powerhouse. And obviously, he's got natural talents. He's got crazy power, but no, I think like a guy like Izzy, he's just got like incredible instincts and he's got incredible dexterity and the things that he can do as a fighter. Like I couldn't teach that to somebody. Like I couldn't do the stuff that Izzy does. I'm not that athletic, but the stuff that Pereira does, it's pretty simple. It's pretty basic, but he just makes a living off of the tiniest little openings. If you make the tiniest little mistake against him, he'll capitalize and he just beats you by being the perfect fundamental fighter.
Hmm. And about teaching, you do have classes that you teach. So what did it take for you? Like, what was the big change from being a fighter to actually teaching someone else?
I mean, for a lot of MMA fighters, they coach while they teach, or I'm sorry, they teach while they train a lot of the times. Like a lot of fighters end up running classes for the gym to get deals on membership and stuff like that. So to me, it's mostly just like a natural progression. Not everyone's cut out to teach, but I've always been the kind of teammate that tries to pick my teammates up and tries to teach them a little bit, so I've always kind of fallen into that realm of being a mentor and an instructor. And the first day I walked into the gym, like I knew I wanted to do it for the rest of my life, and I mean the rest of my life meant coaching after fighting. Like I just love the feel of the gym. Like to me, I come from a broken home, I had a very rough upbringing. When I went to the gym, like as hostile as that environment was, it actually felt like more warm and more like home to me, like you build brotherhoods with like guys you've never met before. And it's just like the relationships you build through the gym just like last forever. And they really mean something because you're kicking the crap out of each other and you're really
Mhm.
testing each other and finding out a lot about each other.
That is true. So overall, what do you say is the biggest thing you took away from fighting in your life that you gained as a person?
I mean, I always say fighting, like most people think they're going to rise to the challenge. Most people want to think they're going to morph into the Incredible Hulk, when the time comes. But very few people will put themselves to the test, and put themselves out there. And fighting more than anything will expose you. You know, it'll expose who you are deep down. You know, will you rise to the challenge or will you be a coward? You know, and you'll really find that out about yourself in a fight. And that's a hard thing to actually know. Most people don't want to know. So I give a lot of credit to people that are willing to take the test. And for me, you know, fighting just proved to me that I could do anything. Like I can get through any tough situation. I feel like after fighting, everything else seems easy by comparison.
Hmm. So, last question here that I'll throw at you.
Mhm.
Let's say any celebrity, any historical figure in history, and you got into a bar fight, who would you want to be helping you?
Oh man, that's a good one. Um, I guess I'd pick the Techno Viking. You know, I always wanted to see that guy fight.
Wow, yeah, that'd be
I
a
don't
good one.
even know if you know who I'm talking about. That's a pretty obscure reference.
It
But
is.
no, the Techno Viking, I'd totally get in a bar fight with that guy.
Wow,
You'll have to look that up if you don't know who I'm talking about.
definitely. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on,
Yeah,
especially
thanks for having me.